Imagine waking up one day with the unsettling realization that the life you're living is not truly your own, that many of your decisions, beliefs, and even desires did not arise from your deepest self, but were shaped quietly by forces outside your awareness. Think about it for a moment. How much of who you are is truly your own, and how much is a role you learn to play? A character shaped by expectations, routines, and quiet pressures that told you who to be long before you could decide for yourself. How often do you feel like you're simply playing a role, living according to a script written by society, by your upbringing, or by fears that whisper quietly in the background of your mind, telling you what is safe, acceptable, and expected of you? Most people never question this way of living. They call it normal. They call it responsible. They call it adulthood. And so the days pass, one after another, without ever stopping to ask whether the life they're living is actually aligned with who they are. But beneath the surface, something doesn't sit right. A quiet tension you can't fully explain, a subtle sense that something essential is missing, not loud enough to disrupt your life, just persistent enough to remind you that this version of you feels incomplete. It often shows up in quiet moments, when the noise fades and distractions fall away. A feeling that this life, as it is now, doesn't fully belong to you, as if you're living slightly out of alignment with something you can't yet name. It's subtle at first, but it grows harder to ignore. A feeling that something inside you is pushing back, that the version of yourself you present to the world no longer fits as comfortably as it once did, even if everything around you appears unchanged. At some point, the feeling turns into a question, a quiet but persistent one. Is this really my life? Not asked out loud, not shared with anyone, just a thought that lingers, returning again and again, no matter how busy you keep yourself. That question doesn't disappear. It follows you into ordinary moments, while you work, while you smile, while you move through your day. And slowly, you begin to sense that what feels wrong isn't your situation. It's the distance between who you are and who you're pretending to be. And for the first time, you realize the problem isn't failure or circumstance or bad luck. It's that you've been living from the outside in, guided by expectation instead of truth, existing but not fully present in your own life. Here's the trap most people never see. The world doesn't force you to live this way. It rewards you for it. Approval replaces truth. Comfort replaces clarity. And slowly, without resistance, you learn to abandon yourself in exchange for belonging. The ancient Greeks understood why this trap works so well. Human beings crave acceptance more than truth. From an early age, we learn that fitting in keeps us safe. Questioning too much risks isolation. And so most people choose certainty over honesty. Over time, this need to belong turns inward. You stop questioning not because you're convinced, but because questioning feels dangerous. Slowly, you begin editing yourself, hiding certain thoughts, softening certain instincts, becoming easier to accept but harder to recognize. Eventually, this self-editing becomes an identity. What began as adaptation hardens into habit. The ancient Greeks called this doxa, living by opinion rather than truth. When approval leads, the soul follows quietly, even when it knows something is wrong. The cost of living this way is subtle, but constant. A low tension you carry everywhere. Moments of anxiety without a clear cause. A sense of emptiness that success doesn't resolve. The Greeks believed this was the soul reacting to a life lived out of alignment. This is where ancient wisdom becomes clear. The Greeks believed this discomfort was the soul, the psyche, calling for attention. Not to be fixed or silenced, but understood. Because a life lived without knowing oneself slowly turns against itself. Eventually, the soul demands to be heard. Not through words, but through restlessness, through dissatisfaction, through the feeling that no matter how much you improve your life on the outside, something essential inside remains untouched and unresolved. The Greeks placed one command above all others. Not wealth, not success, not power. Know yourself. They believed every crisis of meaning begins the same way, when a person lives without understanding who they are and mistakes habit for truth. But knowing yourself is not comforting. It demands stillness, honesty, and the courage to face what you've avoided. This is why most people turn away, They mistake distraction for peace and movement for progress because looking inward feels far more dangerous. The Greeks understood why facing yourself feels threatening, because self-knowledge doesn't just reveal truth, it demands change. It exposes habits you rely on, identities you hide behind, and choices you can no longer blame on anyone else. Because once you truly know yourself, the life you've built can no longer stay the same. Some roles must fall away, some relationships lose their meaning, and that is why many people stop, not from confusion, but from fear of what truth will require. The Greeks believed what replaces fear is not certainty, but courage. The courage to sit with uncertainty, to stand without approval, to choose truth, even when the path forward is unclear. This was the beginning of self-knowledge, not comfort, but resolve. Courage, then, becomes action, not dramatic change, but honest attention. You begin watching your reactions, questioning your habits, noticing where your life feels forced instead of natural. This is how self-knowledge begins, quietly, without applause. This is where many turn back, because awareness is demanding. Once you see yourself clearly, you can't unsee it. Old habits feel heavier, old excuses stop working, and returning to unconscious comfort now feels like a quiet form of self-betrayal. For the ancient Greeks, self-knowledge was not optional. It was the cost of a meaningful life. Without it, a person lives by chance and habit. With it, even difficulty gains direction. This was the line they believed separated existence from living. And this is the moment most people never reach, the point where excuses fall silent, where blame no longer works, where you realize that no philosophy, no teacher, no system can live your life for you. What comes next can only be faced alone. What follows is not a breakthrough, but a quiet shift. Nothing around you changes. The world stays the same, but you stop running from yourself. For the first time, you allow silence to remain without filling it, fixing it, or escaping it. In that stillness, something begins to return. Not a new identity, but a forgotten one. You notice how much of your life was shaped by noise, urgency, and reaction, and how little space you ever gave yourself to simply observe who you are. And slowly, a deeper truth becomes clear. The self you defended for so long was never fixed. It was shaped, adjusted, and reinforced over time. When you stop clinging to it, you realize you are not losing yourself. You are loosening what never truly fit. What emerges is not perfection, but wholeness. The Greeks believed a person becomes free, not by eliminating inner conflict, but by understanding it. When nothing inside you is rejected, nothing outside has the power to control who you are. And this is the truth most never reach. You were never meant to become someone else. You were meant to remember, to peel away what was added out of fear, habit, and imitation. Life doesn't begin when you change who you are. It begins when you stop pretending. If you've ever felt like you were living a life that wasn't truly yours, you're not alone. Ancient wisdom helped me remember what matters, and maybe it can help you too. Subscribe to Timeless Mind by Nicolaus. Join the journey.